Hey everyone, this is Chris Pike and welcome back. I've got another Adobe Premiere Pro tutorial for you. In this one I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you how to do transitions inside of a frame or inside of a picture-in-picture that look really natural. So let's go ahead and get going here. I'm just going to drop in some footage. I got some free footage. Here is Niagara Falls. Quite nice. I was there when I was a kid. And apparently I got sunburned when I was down there or something like that. But whatever. Now let's go ahead and quickly get this up and running. I've got some other tutorials before this that go through some of the basics. But we want to scale this down to about 50% because we want to start doing some picture-in-picture and framing. So, alright, so we've gone ahead, we went into the video effects, effect control panel, motion, scale 50%. Now, let's go ahead and put a frame on this. I've already built a frame, so I'm just going to drop it on. And presto, we've got a frame with hard edges on this one. The previous tutorial, I used soft edges. This one has hard edges. Whatever, either way will work for the tutorial purpose. Now, what we want to do is we want to get some secondary footage. Let's say this pretty girl in a wheat field. We're going to put this down into the project panel, and we want to have this footage slide into here without seeing it slide in the background or anything like that. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to take your border and you want to put it up a track, so it's on top of all of the files, or on top of the clips, pardon me. Then we want to put the free girl in wheat field clip underneath, and let's just go to the title end. So we have this here, and then this isn't going to be right, but we'll get there. And then transitions to the girl in the wheat field. Now obviously that's not correct, so we want to click on the free girl in wheat field, go to the motion under video effects, and we want to make that 50% as well. So they're both the same. Great, so we're going to have a hard transition from one to the other. Let's go ahead and see. Niagara Falls, hard transition, girl in a wheat field. Maybe that's the effect you're going for. If it is, then great. That's kind of like a jump cut is what we would call that in the old video editing world. So if you want a jump cut from Niagara Falls to the girl, you've got it done. You don't need to carry on and watch this any further. If you want to have a nicer transition, though, there's a couple things you can do. One of my favorite, and this might be exactly what you need, is you want to use a video transition. And the default one that most people use is a cross dissolve. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop this cross dissolve right onto the edge of the girl in the wheat field clip. So you're going to see it go from Niagara Falls to the girl in the field, but it's going to kind of dissolve away. So let's watch that. Ready? Okay, that was a little rough because it needs to render through once, so it's not in RAM or whatever. So let's do it again. Wheatfield, Niagara Falls. Okay, one more time. Okay, that looks pretty good. So that's a cross dissolve, and that is a great transition. So if you're into doing picture-in-picture, if you're a wedding guy and you want to have some, pictures and videos sort of slide and dissolve into each other, that might be all you need to do. But let's go ahead and delete that cross dissolve because I'm going to show you the other way to do this. Another really good way to do it. So, alright, let's close that up. Where's the cross dissolve? Click on it. What the heck am I doing? Come on, Curtis. Okay, effect controls, and let's go ahead and delete that dissolve. So I just click on it and delete it. So now we're back to the hard transition. Now, what I was kind of hoping we could do here is I want this girl in the wheat field to come from this outside here and slide into it. So this is a sliding transition. So here's what it'll look like. Here's the next step. We want to go to, let's say, here. This is the part where we want it to start moving in. And we want to click this little toggle animation switch, and we want to move this to the right. And let's move it to, say, to right here. So it's somewhere in that frame. And then going forward a little bit, we want it to be centered at this point. So we'll go ahead and center it in the frame at about here. So that will create the necessary movement. It's not perfect yet, but it'll do it. So we know that if we looked at the original clip, it was 960 by 540. So if I have this position set to 960 by 540, I know that it is dead in the center. So now what do we have? Let's go ahead. We've got the border, we've got the clips, and this is going to slide in. The issue is, well, there's a couple issues, but the biggest issue is you can see here, you can see the footage right here. We don't want that. We also want a bit of a nicer, smoother slide in. So let's go to the footage, go to the position, and we want to click the keyframes. And you want to right-click them, go down to temporal interpolation, and then on the first one you want ease out. And that's counterintuitive because you would assume it's easing in, but it's actually easing out because it's coming out of the timeline. And then this one here, we want to temporal interpolate it to ease in. This smooths out the movement, so it's kind of, it goes in at a nice smooth rate. So watch now. Oh, that was pretty rough. Let's do it again. Okay, here she comes. She's rolling in. Alright, good enough. So we've got her coming in here. So now the next step is for us to get rid of this stuff on the right side. We don't want to see that. We want it to look like it's inside the frame. Now the way to do that is to create a, let me just show you here. You need to create a, an adjustment layer. That's what I meant to say. My words are failing me. So we want to create an adjustment layer, and I'll explain why in a second. So let's go ahead and create an adjustment layer. Here we go. An adjustment layer, for those of you that don't know, is basically just a dummy layer. It really is just like dummy footage, or it's just there so you can manipulate it and apply effects to it, but it has nothing on it. It's not like it's got colors or anything like that. It's just a dummy layer. So it's just, so what we want to do next, anyways, get back to the video here, is we want to move the border up. So we push the border up to track 5 in this case. Actually, yeah, we can go down. Let's move these down, and let's move this down one because no point having too many. Anyways, we move that up to track 4, so we've got track 1 and 2. This is still the top track, so this one gets priority. We sneak the adjustment layer right here. I just made one. We want to sneak that in underneath the border. So the border's still at the top of the layer stack. The adjustment layer's below it. And then we've got the other two footages underneath. So in this case, let's start the adjustment layer here. So we're starting it, and then we don't really need to go much past that. So we'll just snip it. So, still haven't fixed it, but we're going to get there. The next thing you need to do is you got to go to the crop effect. Into the effects panel, type in crop. Now apply this crop to the adjustment layer. We are going to be cutting up the dummy layer. Now, the border's still on the top, so whatever we apply to this adjustment layer will not affect the border. So it will only affect the footage and everything below it. So go to the crop effect, click on it, and let's crop out what we don't want. So that's the wrong way, that's not the crop, so let's crop it like this. Okay, so we're going to crop it somewhere in the middle of the frame. That doesn't matter because the frame is above the adjustment layer. Now watch what we have here. So we've got the footage looking nice, adjustment layer, secondary footage slides in, hand in a glove, guys. That's a bit of a long way to explain how to do a slide transition, get rid of all of the background noise, and do that in a picture-in-picture, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll be back with some more stuff shortly. Cheers. Bye-bye.